Starting now. Hello, it's me, Impulse. I'm here with Genghis and Jer. Um, I wanted to make some like introductory videos into how to play Jeskai in a variety of matchups. So this is gonna be the first one, a little bit of a test run. How are you guys doing? How are you, Genghis?
I'm good. Looking forward to it. I like playing Jeskai in blue decks, so doing more of that is always fine. This should be good.
How about you, Jer?
I'm also good. I also like playing Jeskai and blue decks.
Okay, so we're playing face up with the matchup here. So I'm on Jeskai and Jeremy, you're on Scapeshift. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your deck and your game plan?
Yeah, Scapeshift is a hybrid combo control deck. My version is 4 colors with no black cards. Red and white are the splashes, but it's a little awkward. You need a lot of red sources in your deck to win with Scapeshift. So there's quite a few red sources, but a bunch of them are through triomes and whatnot. But you're primarily looking to get the 7 mana and cast Scapeshift, or get to 6 mana and resolve Spellseeker for the Seeker Walk combo. You also have some mid-rangey threats that can win, but mostly winning through one of the two combos.
For sure, for sure. Um, so Jeskai's game plan, as with any matchup, Jeskai's a very reactive control style deck. Is to stop that game plan. So I can't really stop you from playing lands, but I can try to counter the payoffs once you have the lands out. So Scapeshift's like slightly favored in this matchup because you have a lot of value and a lot of stuff I can't interact with. Do you have any thoughts on how you play the matchup just generally?
Yeah, I also have a similar view. I think Scapeshift is slightly favored. Um, Similar that I just have a lot of value, and if we ever get to the point where both decks are top decking, or the tempo of the game is such that we're both sort of tapping out, I think Scapeshift is favored in both of those sort of patterns. The games where Jeskai wins, you're gonna look either like a tempo deck or just like a flat out control deck, and none of my relevant spells resolve for the most part.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to talk about my list really quick here, and then we can get started into gameplay. Um,
Sounds good. Just shoot me a challenge when you're ready.
okay, we'll do. Should be just a minute or two. Um, so my list is like it's a pretty stock Jeskai control list. There's a couple changes that I made that are for budgetary reasons due to some cards on MTGO being insanely expensive. I switched stock up out for Rediscover the Way. They're pretty similar cards. They're just 3 mana sorcery, draw engines, or card advantage. And then I switched out Oculus for Ethereal Forger, which is significantly worse, but kind of does a bit of the same thing.
Yeah, to put it
Um,
lightly.
my points here, I've got Mystical Tutor, Ancestral Recall, and Fourth Year Lingus. Mystical Recall are like really core to what I like to do with Jeskai. Mystical's a really good toolbox card. It finds all of our interaction, as well as like very specifically finding recall and terminus. Um, and so then we have a floating 10th point, and fourth fits that really well. It can be found off of Mystical Tutor, off of Merchant Scroll 4 Mystical Tutor, and off of Spellseeker, which I'm currently not playing here, also for budget reasons. Um, do you have any thoughts on this list, Genghis?
No, I think yes. I think fourth is clearly the best 10 point right now because of the printing of Oculus slash Forager in this list. Because there's already pressure on the graveyard, having the other two previous best 1 pointers, Dig Through Time and Treacher Cruise, are a lot less valuable. And with Mystical Tutor, we've talked before about how the holy trinity of Mystical Tutor is like something for when you're behind, which is Terminus, when you're even on board, which is Recall, and when you are way ahead on board and just looking to close the game, which is Fourth. So having those kind of three like scenarios that the game can be in, all findable off a 1-mana instant speed tutor is huge.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The sideboard's kind of just here for decoration. These are cards that I own on MTGO that I don't want to forget I have if I ever want to include them. I won't be sideboarding against Jay or anything like that.
So Impulse, as the master Jeskai pilot, what are you looking for when you're playing Scapeshift in a 7? Or a 6 or a 5? Hopefully 7.
Well, we won the die roll. That's good. Take the play. I really want a hand that can prevent like card advantage engines, or like a way to take over the game early. Scapeshift has like a lot of really clunky cards, and so you can get underneath them.
How good would you say turn 1 Ragavan on the play is against Scapeshift?
Turn 1 Ragavan on the play is insane. If either of these lands are a volcanic island, this is like a snap keep. But they're both tapped, effectively mono blue duels. And so I'd ship this.
Yeah, would you mulligan even if it was like a Thundering Falls, like a tapped red source? Would that change your math here?
I'd probably keep that too. Turn 2 Ragavan is also good. And this hand has like some gas. Counterspell and Remand are both really good. You want the stack based interaction. And then Force is always a great thing to have.
Yeah, shame.
This is the other end of the spectrum. So this hand doesn't have ability to put on pressure early, outside of jamming a 4th. But since we're already on a mulligan to 6, and I don't want to go much lower, I'd keep this.
Yeah, this hand tempts me a little bit. I think not on the draw. On the draw, I think we just go to 5. But I think on the play, the Scapeshift deck is somewhat incentivized to like put stuff on the stack, and so if they tap out, your taps out turn 2 for 3 visits or some kind of ramp spell, and we get to just 4th on 1 and hold up interaction for the rest of the game, that sounds like pretty appealing to me.
What do you put back here?
Vista.
That is also what I put back.
Yeah.
You want to prioritize keeping islands for Sanctuary, especially in matchups where, or not matchups, but in game states where you already have like your pointed card in hand. So going 4th into 4th is pretty backbreaking, and this gives us a chance to fetch Sanctuary.
Yeah, I was like, if we draw 3 lands in a row, Teachings is no longer a land, which is fine.
Against some decks, I'd shock in the Steam Vents, like if this were a bigger control deck. But because it is Scapeshift, there's a big difference between 20 and 18.
Agreed. Would you consider playing the Misty and fetching a Surveil land if it wasn't for the 4th being in your hand? Or
Definitely.
would you always save for the Sanctuary?
Definitely. Stifle's a really good pickup. This is like a Stone Rain. If Jer plays a fetch, which is pretty ideal because it'll put him behind on mana while not putting us behind.
And tapping him out for a 4th to resolve.
Yeah. I forgot to see, did Jer mulligan?
I believe he kept 7. Yeah, he didn't mulligan.
Okay. He mulliganed and he surveilled to the top.
I think unless he has a 4th, we are in a really good spot. Alright, him binning Confluence makes it... He's not incredibly land light because it's a 5 drop, but it does mean he does not want more spells right now.
So as far as land sequencing, I still want to fetch a sanctuary with this if I can. And then waterlog teachings is a spell, and we also don't want to play a tap land this turn. So I'm just gonna play this on Big Canyon. And then I'm gonna jam the 4th here.
100%.
Oh, I suppose I had to type white. So this loses to a force or to like a bolt.
Yeah.
Or on Holy
Days as
Heat.
well gets us here.
Yeah.
But the upside is so huge. That went pretty fast. Oh, baby.
This is absolutely huge. Jeskai plays the Monarch and Initiative game really, really well. We ran White Plume when it wasn't pointed. Use has so much cheap removal to contest the board.
And we just found an island for our third island for the sanctuary. That was interesting. How do you value that?
It's a good question. I'm gonna draw and then reconsider my life. So we're definitely playing the island here. We want the 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Next.
he's his options here, he can elk the food or he can try to swap.
Yeah, but he only swaps if we don't attack because the knight has haste.
Yeah, so I think the line here is that I want to attack Oko. I don't think he'll swap even. I don't think he'll swap. So it's a bad line. I think we just attack Oko and then stifle the activation.
Do we stifle the activation, or is Igon doing the elk worth it and having stifle for a fetch or something?
Oh, that's a good question.
Stifle is also counterable, which we do want to keep as like keeping the food from being in play this turn keeps us from 2 turns, right? Since he has to make the food next turn.
No, that's a better line. You're right. That's why I have you here. You watch me. I actually am just gonna stifle this.
I think that's a good read.
I think if he's island cycling this main, it means he's land light.
Yeah. It means he wants double blue as well, potentially, for like force negation or a lose focus that's backed up. Yeah, and feeling the Lorien revealed, again, he surveilled the Mystic Confluence into the yard, which shows that he wanted lands, which makes the stifling Lorien revealed more appealing. Oh, yeah. As far as I know, Scapeshift doesn't play many cards that interact with the channel lands.
Yeah, a couple things. The only card that they could run to interact with Igonjo would be like Stifle. That's commonly run, and that's just not a card that Scapeshift wants. They want the higher card quality.
Yeah. So what are we thinking of how we're going to deal with the Oko? He clearly has 4 spells in hand.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like Soft Perfect Springs wouldn't have been his 4th land drop. Do you like trying to Sanctuary back 4th end of his turn?
Yeah, I think that's the line. You could waterlog teachings for Unholy Heat, but we're 1 card off from that line. So we don't have a way to kill Oko.
Yeah, we can also like Sanctuary 4th. No, crack fetch teachings for recall. Like crack fetch, hold priority, teachings for recall, sanctuary, get back forth, and then recall in the instant step. Depending on what he does, or he can just get a spell pierce or a spell snare or a force of will. Teachings does a lot. Or hey, look,
mana
you
leak
just draw mana leak.
a really good pickup here. It's just the interaction we needed.
It depends how he plays this. Like if he's feels comfortable sitting on Oko, then that is a little scary for us because we have to play the fourth into him. But smartly, Impulse is putting the teachings on the stack in order to flush some kind of interaction out because Jared knows this is going to find recall, and if we recall, it's probably no good. And here comes the classic debate of do you counter the tutor or do you counter what the tutor gets? With the logic being, if you counter what the tutor gets, that means your opponent spent more mana on the tutor and the spell that they find with it. But if they're actually tutoring for protection, then you've let them get protection for whatever they're looking for. What do you think? Is it just recall here?
Yeah, on MTGO, I like to always just take an extra second and make sure there's not anything I'm missing. But I do think that getting the 8-point card is probably the best line.
And do we want to?
Actually,
with him having 5 mana open, I don't think I want to commit to fourth.
Yeah, exactly. So even if he like starts like attempting to do stuff with Oko, I think I'm more on the casting this recall 3 times plan.
Yeah, like on his turn too.
Yeah.
Like we can on his turn we can recall, snap, recall, and then at the end of his turn, after forcing him to do something about that, get back the fourth then, and then that fourth first land draw depending, which I assume we will kill Oko.
4 mana here.
His own teachings? Ooh, Gifts Ungiven.
Well, he's tapped out, so now is a great time to start by resolving recall. Or hopefully resolving recall.
Yeah.
This doesn't play around Force of Negation, but plays around pretty much everything.
Memory Lapse is kind of tempting because then he can't fetch a Surveil on his end step. On our end step.
Well, he could fetch a Surveil
in response. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But he won't get access to the card right away either way.
Yeah.
And I am going to go ahead and do that Memory Lapse line. Am I tapping right? This looks right.
Are you willing to snap, chump, recall the Elk next turn? And is he going for the Surveil or is he going for a Spell Pierce? Or a Spell Snare? Take Surveil.
Okay, Ben's Eternal Witness. So let's go ahead. Oh, in response to the Monarch trigger there, I misplayed. I should have fetched
I just got back the recall.
Got back the recall. Either way, I think we're in a good spot. So
yeah. Yeah, that's really awkward because now we can't. Well, we can put Snappy in front.
He doesn't have removal, or he's choosing not to use it. If he has instant speed removal, I assume he'd just use it every time there.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, what's this? 5 mana?
Bring Delight. Interesting.
Probably the One Ring, if I had to guess.
This doesn't find artifacts.
Oh, well, that's good.
He's just finding Time Walk.
That makes more sense. Do we want to recall and foster that then, or let him? Because if we recall and find a force, do we want to counter Bring to Light or let Time Walk be in the graveyard? If we draw Force of Negation, we'd want him to find Time Walk, put it on the stack first.
Yeah.
But if we find Force of Will, we'd rather have Bring on the stack.
I went ahead and waited there. I think there's also an argument for not. I think I want to put this. I'm gonna put 4th back in my hand here. I'm not committed to casting it, but I want to threaten it.
Mm-hmm.
And then because we don't want to draw the 4th right now, we're gonna recall ourselves in response to that to give us more looks for free interaction, which we miss on, but that's fine.
He did miss land drop, so we're not dead to Scapeshift again. But he's going to yoink the Monarch here. And if he can start chaining extra turns, then we're potentially hooped. Let's see. Oko doesn't shine as brightly as it used to, but that card will still take over a game unanswered. I think that was probably the draw for turn. We would have seen that a while ago. We know we had Gifts and Given still in hand.
Yeah, it's Gifts and I believe 2 unknowns.
Yeah. So he's passing to us. He probably wants to Gifts on our end step. Or Counterspell. Again, he didn't play land this turn, so we know his hand is 1 billion lands approximately. So what do you think we do here?
Honestly, I'm still trying to think about the line.
Yeah. Like, we can't 4th and tap out, because if he has a counterspell, we are screwed. If we 4th for 3, holding up Mana Leak, then Oko still lives. He gets to have 2 creatures, and we start fighting the Monarch game. Like, because we have to put 2 creatures towards Oko, 1 towards him, and if he has removal spell, then we also get punished. But,
I think Unholy,
we don't think he has removal, right?
I don't think so. I think Unholy Heat is our path here. And so what I'm gonna do, I want to 4th through 2, and I'm gonna actually swing both at Oko.
You fine letting him keep the Monarch?
Yeah, I'll let him keep the Monarch for a turn. He's gonna Gifts end of turn, and then we can counter that.
So 4th for 2, Unholy Heat Oko to finish it off, and then Mana Leak Gifts is the plan?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have Subtlety as free interaction that mostly does not matter against his deck. Alright. Again, that resolved reasonably quickly. It's a Moto only play.
There's probably curious why I didn't attack him.
Mm-hmm. I think we Unholy Heat on his upkeep, right? Or once he's tapped out.
Yeah.
And I think we Mana Leak the Gifts and Given first. I don't know if this deck plays Daze, but I think we'd rather have Unholy Heat countered than let him resolve Gifts and Given. Because we're probably just dead to that.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
not
I mean,
literally, then mostly.
the one thing that Gifts is probably going to get is Uro. So even if we deal with the rest of the pile, Uro is just kind of a nightmare against what we have going on right now.
Yeah, it just kind of has very few main deckable grave-hated pieces, which we're on none in this list, right? Not even a little Ghost Vacuum.
Yeah, that's correct. We're entirely relying on counter spells and exile removal. Oh, I should tap that for blue, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll snapping this off now. And now he gets to leave the food open to eat a blocker or eat one of our attackers. But we have EI and Serum Visions to probably cantrip into removal. And either way, we get the Monarch back. Shocks and Cements. Hate that on turn 7. And he has it.
Depending on how well you know your opponent, you can scoop to the Scapeshift. In tournament, I always make them show you the mountains, and that'll also tell you what colors they're on, because you'll be able to see, like, if they have a Badlands and 2 black Triomes, they'll be on black, or whatever it may be. But here I'm just letting Jer resolve it for content.
Yeah, and we did not misplay by mana leaking the Gifts and Given. Like, that is still the correct line, even though, sure, he had solve into Scapeshift. If we didn't counter Gifts and Given, he can get Uro, he could get, maybe he didn't even have the solved equation, he can also get the Mistrise Village from the new Tarkir set, make it uncounterable. He just had to have, like, double tutor.
Hey.
Hello.
That was a good game.
It was. I should have revealed hand there, but we were banking on a subtlety, the whole game. So if you were winning through fairer means, the subtlety would have been able to interact.
I had Ephemerate and Neoform in my hand basically that whole game. So if I had ever drawn a creature tutor or a way to get Spellseeker, the subtlety would have been relevant.
For sure. I had the read you were on 2 duds because you were missing land drops and then not killing my creatures and not countering my stuff. So
yep.
Something wrong there.
Indeed. But yeah, we solved the equation at a good time.
Oh, was that your last turn or the turn before that?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
But that's why I put it in the deck.
For sure.
Yeah.
No Spellseeker.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that was a cool game. All right. On did you want to go over anything else?
Oh no, yeah.
From your perspective, or just
we kept
a
medium 6 with 4th and was just hoping on the 4th Thresher to be enough.
Yeah.
Oko isn't like you said, Genghis. It's definitely not what it once was, but it definitely shines in matchup like these.
Yeah, it's not a 10 out of 10 anymore, but it's pretty widely applicable. I've found when playing it. Like sometimes it's just an answer to a really troublesome permanent. Like I've actually elked my own One Ring in this deck quite a few times. But you can also elk opposing One Rings if that's something you're afraid of. And also just like against permanent based combo decks, it's often pretty good because this deck is pretty good at slowing other decks down, but not necessarily dealing with everything forever.
For sure.
So you can
that's why
slow them.
Oko's really found a home in like control and it's just glacially slow, but all the stuff it does is still nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do a lot in
exactly.
check. Like, because against the artifact combo decks, usually they're not clocking you on my total that much, so alking 2 or 3 of the permanents and just outbeating them later was fine.
Hmm.
Card shows up. I don't think there's much to say about that game. I think most of the lines are pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, my side was I didn't get to resolve gifts, which would have been the only thing I would have spent some time talking about. But
Yeah, what are some of the cards you might have got? Like I was saying, like Mistrise Village and Uro, and then like past the Scapeshift.
Uro's pretty nice. At that point, I had Ephemerate already in hand, and I had Eternal Witness in the bin, so any regrowth lets me, and Time Walk in the bin, so any
Okay.
regrowth lets me get back Eternal Witness, get back Time Walk, and then I already had Ephemerate, so regrowths probably would have been a pretty heavy theme of any
Yeah.
gifts on given pile. All right, good luck.
To you as well.
And you. I think we found another sixer.
Yeah, unfortunately, once again, this hand has access to recall or interaction, good pressure
Yeah.
between fourth and Johnny, but the lands
Yeah.
just aren't here.
Yeah, even
so-
if we had more, I think I might mulligan this. Even if we had better lands, because Solitude and Path are both like so middling.
Yeah,
in
well,
this
ideally
matchup.
we'd want to land over one of those.
Over one of those,
yeah.
But oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, this is a heroic one-lander.
So I'm gonna bottom path here. I'm gonna keep Aragorn as a blue card to pitch to Subtlety.
Yep.
And then all the other cards are good in the matchup. So
Yeah, this is a Ragavan and Prey hand. We have Ragavan, a way to protect it.
two ways
If
to
we draw
protect
land, we
it.
get to cast Fairy turn 2. Otherwise, we are doinking, just doinking him for 2 each time.
Yeah, and if he doesn't have interaction for the Ragavan, accelerating out an Aragorn is once again very powerful.
Yeah.
Monarch is like a really important piece for Jeskai in this matchup. You just want to start drawing cards.
Yeah. If you can't outclock, outdraw, and we usually can't outdraw Scapeshift because we have more cards that are dead in the match than them. Through, like we've seen twice in this game's Mulligan's Path Exile. All right, that was real fast. We ain't got no force, no misstep of our own. It'd be very nice to have your tempo Jeskai game happen.
Yeah, so this is a function of how I have the list built. Is there a lot of cards that are good cards like Ragavan, but are also cheap. So that allows you to sometimes have hands like this, which is pretty important against combo. Pest Infestation, cube staple.
Not so good here.
No,
Yeah,
indeed.
Flame Slash, obviously one of the worst draws in the deck, I think. But not a land, not a spell that interacts favorably with a lot of what Deer's going to be trying to do.
The last time I saw Jair's list, he was on like a similar amount of creatures to what we are. I think he was on like 14 or so, like a little bit lighter.
Okay.
So, oh hello.
All right. We don't like to see that. We do have Subtlety as a safety valve against some of the more impressive things he can be doing. But if we're trying to play a tempo game and he steals the play from us with Time Walk, that might be a lot to come back from. Yeah, we're happy to slash that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That gives us a target for Flame Slash. Let's just pitch a card out of our hand.
Oh, that's a nice pickup.
Alright, let's hope there's no counterspell. Uh-oh. Remand.
Evasive action for 4.
For 4.
That's unfortunate, but it's gonna have to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, we could have misstepped Tameo, but then that just gets space actions. Maybe that was right, actually, to kind of bait out something, but
We didn't know if he had a removal spell or not. I guess he
Yeah.
might have played it on turn 1, but
yeah. Are we greedy enough to try Mystical Tutor end of his turn?
it depends on what he
I guess.
plays.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can Mystical Tutor for recall and then try to play like a fair game.
Yeah, but if we recall, we lose our treasure token, we spend our 1 mana to recall, and if
Yeah.
then we need to draw a 1-drop and recall to actually do anything on our turn. This is I think I'd rather
I think I want to try to spike and draw a land and jam this.
Yeah, spike the land for fairies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we're winning this game clearly anymore. Okay,
There it is. Alright, let's hope there's not another piece of counter magic.
Get this out here.
There might not be counter magic. Well, we'll find out. And now next turn I think we can tutor for recall and not feel too bad if we need to.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't like that. Doesn't like that. Yeah.
So we're gonna lose this game slowly over a couple turns.
We might still squeak it out, but it's not looking good.
Yeah. But the misstepping the Tameo line, it's just a question of whether we think he runs more counter magic or more 1 mana removal.
Yeah.
And I think
We're
the
definitely
answer
misstepping now.
to that is like, yeah, for sure. I think the answer to that is 1 mana removal. I think there are more impactful 1-drops for mental misstep to hit. And it also, it's +1 card with Flame Slash, but instead he shows us 7 counter spells.
Yeah. I think now that he gets to clear off Ragamuff's pretty bad. I think we can. He is down to 1 card in hand. He gets to crack Clue and then draw to 3 next turn, and then crack another Clue, go to 4. We can Mystical Dude on our upkeep.
Yeah, that is what I'm gonna do.
Correct
here.
now.
We're looking for the recall bailout.
Yeah. Can we get like a land, and 1 unreal spell, please and thank you. Yeah, drawing Sanctuary sucks here. So I'm gonna get a 4th land for.
It does. There's a pretty even split between white and red spells. So I usually lean towards red between Brotherhood's End and Fury. You're also more likely to want to double red spells, like play 2 red spells, like a Dreadhold and a Bolt or whatever it may be.
I think we're kind of forced to take March here.
Yeah.
Hope that his next draw or 2 aren't good. I mean, if we draw another island next turn, we get to play that and have Sanctuary online for the recall. There are paths out of this game, but there are paths that involve him not drawing particularly well. Like if he goes to flip Tameo now, we're pretty hooped. Uh-oh. What's 5 mana? I think this is a converge with him. No, okay. Nature's
he gets
Lore.
to do this and flip Tameo.
Yeah.
So I think we have to
he's
draw a land for Aragorn here, or I'm comfortable, or something better, or I'm comfortable scooping it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and an untapped island for Aragorn and turning Sanctuary on for the recall would be blissful. Untapped land. Like, Tamio gets to rebuy Time Walk now. When he has 2 cards in hand.
That's alright. We'll just draw Force of Negation.
There it is. In a way.
This could.
It's a 4-mana Force of Negation. Sometimes when your opponent's thinking, it's very good for you. I think this is one of those times where it's very bad for us. Figuring out if he can actually kill us or not.
Sure.
Like, if he has something he likes, he gets to bring back Loose Focus. Yikes. That's pretty good. Maybe he'll grab the Nature's Lore with Tamio in order to shuffle the Brain Surge. But I doubt that.
Wow, he doesn't even need the Time Walk.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, like... I'm not sure what play we're happy with here. Like, maybe the cards he had... Maybe the cards he Brain Surge into were just, like, so awful that he didn't think Time Walk was useful. Can we Mire Crack for a Steam Vents to get our 3rd island? And then Teachings for a Kill Spell for Tamio, maybe? Do we want to Kill Spell for Tamio at this point?
Yeah, but I'm gonna draw for my end step first.
Yeah, I do mean Instant Speed.
Okay.
We can also arguably Teachings for Mystical for 4th. If we think we can. Kill Tamio and clock in.
I think by now he's hit another piece of interaction.
Yeah. You casting it now?
Yeah.
That's fair. You stepped out. Yeah.
We'll go ahead and grab a discharge here.
Yeah. Grab discharge because it's the most narrow of the removal spells we have now.
Yeah.
Flame slashes bigger creatures. Unholy Heat hits any most threats. Bolt hits face. So discharge is like when we're happiest to just get rid of the deck.
Discharge is also really powerful in multiples, so having it in your graveyard is good. Our next one can do up to 5 if we Snapcaster it or whatever. Probably
when
won't
we
happen
Snapcaster
because we have a recall in the bin, but
yeah. And if you cast recall, you can't lose games of Magic. Right. We've cast 4 recalls this set so far, and look at us.
I forgot to put Do Not Disturb on.
Is it worth? Okay, I was gonna ask if it was worth subtletying Murktide. Subtletying the Yoko with Murktide.
Oh, I was distracted and just clicked through it. Would I have settled the Oko? I don't think so.
Yeah, we can just slam Murktide anyway. Oh, that's kind of huge, actually. How many cards in the graveyard? Can we Murktide into Forager?
Yeah, 10
And,
cards.
like...
We can Murktide, Forager, and hold up Recall.
Yeah, that sounds pretty nice.
So we're gonna start with the Murktide before anything else. 1, 2, 3.
We want to make sure don't you want to exile the non because exiling like the instant sorceries with the forager
thank
will go
you.
Murktide
Thank
and
you.
get them back.
Not used to forager lines. Yes, thank you.
Almost never useful to like get rid of the lands at the very first, but
Yeah.
here I
Um.
think I like get rid of like Flame Slash,
Yeah, I think Flame Slash is
and
the
then
worst one.
yeah. Oh baby, this we might come back into this game. Like it's clear he doesn't have huge things going on. There it is. Nothing is more beautiful than watching like 8 Murktide triggers go on the stack when you delve something else. Cling to Dust is my favorite example. Activities.
We do have March up here for the food token.
Yeah.
I want to recall in his upkeep here. We know we need a blue card for a subtlety, and I want to give him as little information as possible for if he chooses to interact with it.
Inspiring Remand is not that good against Scapeshift on 8 lands. we'll take it. We won't complain. And we get to Forager for Teachings next turn. If we get to untap with it. And then we have Force of Negation available.
Well, also that Teachings for Mystical line you mentioned wasn't available. Mystical was in the yard.
Oh yeah, you're totally correct.
It was bad line anyway.
Teachings for Snap for Mystical for 4th. And then we can 4th for like 1. 4th for 0. Nice. Yeah.
This is an exchange, so we're gonna blow up the food in response. At least try to.
And that lets us clear Oko and clock him. Let's
Correct the food.
Okay, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
It was much more worrisome if that was a remand or something.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
We're already at
I
that.
have not been paying close attention to that. We're at Nashville Valakut. Okay.
He has
there goes that.
10 lands.
Yeah. Well, we can if we just attack him for 9, we put him to 8. He can make a food, go to 11. But if we flash with subtlety or cast Johnny this turn, we can just kill him. Or do we clear Oko here? I think I kind of like killing him.
Yeah, I don't care about this Oko anymore.
Yeah.
Notably, Elking a Murktide is not fantastic. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Yeah, and we do get to leave up Remand and Subtlety.
I do want to note that we've drawn like 4 cards off this Monarchy or something like that.
Oh wait, did we not?
I played the Mountain. If that's
we played. Okay, we played. Okay, drawing Memory Lapse is great too.
At least I think I played the Mountain.
Yeah, I think as long as his turn isn't literally, Mystic Village or whatever, the new Tarkir land.
That is an excellent remand target.
Yeah. Oh, we drew blue spell, so when you recast it, we can then memory lapse it. Let's go.
Do I use the subtlety here?
I don't think so. Like, I don't think there's anything he can possibly have.
I guess there's
like, Daze is the only thing he can have right now, and then we have the one anyway. And even if he does, we just get the subtlety anyway. Yeah. Wow, that was
that was quite the pullback.
That was quite a comeback. Yeah, like
I don't know about this DMing me. I'm gonna concede and then winning business, but
I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I
that turn I
holy-
had Brain Surge and Oko in my hand, flipped Tameo, and you just had Aragorn. I was like, how do I ever lose? But the Brain Surge was terrible, and you drew well. Yeah, another cool game.
It was quite the runner. Every card I needed. Good.
I also
reason
messed
to
up.
never
I
concede.
I should have. I accidentally put back both of my untapped lands and kept a Triumph off the Brain Surge, and I could have. It stopped me from casting Oko a turn earlier, but I don't think it would have mattered.
Okay,
I still
so
get no.
the big line of that game was our 7 was Spire Bluff, Ragavan, Mental Misstep, Subtlety, 3 Fairy, and Aragorn.
Yeah.
So Ragavan, you went Time Walk, and then you played Tameo.
Yeah.
And so we discussed it a little bit and decided to save the misstep because we had drawn a Flame Slash, and it was good to have a target for Flame Slash. Do you think you would have misstepped or subtletied the Tameo?
I think I would have misstepped it just because I think this deck has less misstep targets than probably most, just because it goes so high up the curve.
Okay.
And then if I had Force or something, you still have Flame Slash and you're still ahead.
Yeah.
Flame Slash is dead, and that sucks. But I don't know. It's hard to look back at it in hindsight.
For sure.
Because like misstepping it would have been obviously very good, because then you get to crack in with Ragavan again and Teferi, and that game's probably over much quicker.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to a question of whether I feel you have more counter magic or more 1 mana removal. And in the moment I was thinking 1 mana removal, but it sounds like the answer was counter magic.
I have 3 1-mana removal spells in my deck.
Okay.
That's not many.
So you can do the math later. Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah, I was
definitely
expecting
more counter magic.
I was expecting a lot more. I thought you'd be on like Flame Slashes and stuff, but that makes sense.
No, in my rug version, I'm on more of this. This deck gets access to Mystical Tutor for Terminus, so you get to cheat a little bit more on cheap removal. But
and you got to naturally Valakut, which is sweet.
I did. That's not the plan, and that's usually bad for me, and it was bad for me there. So yeah. All right. Hopefully the next game goes a little better.
Good luck.
You too.
That was a sweet game. Like, as far as Jeskai's ability to come back from huge deficits goes.
Recall is in fact a powerful magic card. Well, this is excellent.
This hand is hideous.
That this is happening in the YouTube video. Every 7 we've had has been versions of unplayable.
Yeah, like Brotherhood's End is not only bad in the matchup, but like incredibly uncastable. Daze is offline. There's no island for Tameo.
Like if this was a Tundra, like we're chilling.
Yeah.
But it's not. We play Tameo, we'd have Daze, we'd have 3 Fairy. Wasteland's solid in this matchup.
Yeah.
This
one
hand hurts to keep. Yeah, we want pressure. And this hand doesn't have pressure, but it has interaction, and it has like Stifle is a good card in the matchup. So I think I'd keep.
Like in a blue mirror, I'm so happy to keep this hand. I get to keep. I probably bottom Stifle, keep Bolt for like an errant Tameo or Ragavan or something. But in this matchup, just sitting behind counter magic sucks. But I think I agree. 5 is worse. We bottom Bolt, no Tameo, no whammies.
Yeah.
Okay. Is playing around the Stifle, notably. And he bins a land, which means Stifle is probably not going to be great in this matchup. Or in this game, because he's flush with lands.
Oh, that's perfect. This is exactly what we needed. We wanted a mid-game threat.
A mid-game threat that might do nothing. But also, you know, maybe 5 minutes from now we'll be rolling our 18th 6.
We love gambling here.
Oh yeah, he has like a textbook Scapeshift curve.
This deck has gotten so much more powerful due to surveils.
You know, like turning your ramp spells into card selection.
Yeah, and the weakness of the deck is that you have to play so many lands, but when all your lands are pseudo considers, hey.
Do we play Meyer for? Okay, no.
No.
I was gonna ask if it's worth considering. If in case we don't lose focus, we get to Thundering Falls into consider.
Yeah, I want to hold my selection as long as I can here because I don't know what I need for this hand yet. Do I want another land?
This is one of those times where it's you don't really want to land, but what else? What's better than a land right now?
Yeah, I think I am gonna bend this.
I think it's reasonable. Should have taken the land, I guess. Misstep, as Jared just said, is not very good in Solitude. This is not shown here. I think we... do we snap this Stifle off?
No.
No.
He's shown he's land heavy. He's surveilled a lot.
What are we hoping to turn? Is Stifle just force bait now? Force fodder?
Probably an Eternal Witness or Seeker Trigger.
That's fair.
If he's going that route. We do have one of the double white cards in hand here. But there's like a question of like, do we want to get our white source for Solitude now, or do we want to set up Sanctuary?
Like, we could get Roggen Triumph, but I think I agree that getting the surveil is better.
We have to surveil because we want to play the 4-drop here. I think I'm going to grab Elegant Parlor, but it's pretty close.
Yeah. Like, Force and Lose Focus are both double blue cards, TM. So, like, if we don't draw another blue spell...
I have to keep that on top. I need to land here.
And we do get to feel comfy tapping out for Comet because we do have the Force Negation available. Alright.
There's
Library.
A question here. Do I play a library and pass and next turn have library active?
I don't hate it.
I think because he hasn't played anything here, the chances he has counter magic are high.
Yeah. But also, if we have to react on his turn, that also turns us off library. I think this hand was just a bit of a clunker. As we've said, like we want to put pressure on, and we have not been able to do so. Which means he gets to make land drops and find tutors and find counter magic.
It's a lot of mana.
I think we're fine with that. He played a land this turn, correct?
He did.
No, he did not. He did? Okay, so yeah, he's going to have to start hand size anyway.
I thought he played... Oh, no, he didn't.
He did not. Okay, and his hand is apparently all spells. Otherwise, he would not be playing Springs. Do we just... No, we don't want to miss steps when I have library online.
Yeah.
Never mind. Yeah, him playing the Springs out does concern me. I mean, his land is his. He really wants to ponder, and didn't draw any blue lands. His hand is either. It's probably just full spells.
His hand, he probably is just trying to push for a win as soon as possible.
I don't. We can hold priority and.
Yeah, we can. Yep.
Library here, right?
Yep.
I think we are. Drawing a land makes us able to force and lose focus.
Yeah. So I do think
yeah.
you get to reveal the miracle trigger and then decide.
Okay.
So we have all our information here. We've drawn our cards and we have a Wooded Hills. So just jamming the Triumph is fine.
Yeah. We need to develop a threat.
I should play a land.
We do get to play a land, which means, force, lose focus, and misstep to lasts us to the next turn. Probably fine.
Yeah, this hitting the threat was a really ideal sequence. Triumph is also uniquely strong against Scapeshift because of the lifelink. The difference between 18 and 19 is the difference between life and death.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Jerry also isn't on Field of the Dead. Is that right?
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so. It's not always stock to be on it. It's kind of just a backup plan.
Yeah. I feel reasonable about this.
Yeah, Jer's tanking for a bit here, but I think this is the good type of thinking for us.
Mm-hmm.
If he had like a protected Scapeshift, it'd be on the stack already. So
yeah. Yeah, I think he was hoping we'd respond to the Lorien revealed to turn us off of the library. It was also probably a correct play to make, but I think holding fast there and not getting excited when you see your opponent drawing 3 cards is why we're in a good position right now. Yeah, like I don't think we even stifled this trigger, so we can keep the library online.
I'm really curious what he gets here.
I think he's probably got a Ponder.
I think he's getting a land. I think he's getting Polluted Delta or Verdant. I think not even he knows what he's getting.
I think he was hoping. I think he was hoping we start this. Yeah, there is this library tension where there are things you want to interact with, but also at the same time you can't commit to it. Once we untap here and we get to hardcast our spells instead of pitch casting Force Negation, that makes library a lot easier to keep. And Surveillant here?
Yeah. We have double of all our colors, so.
Yeah.
I keep Triome in the deck because once in a blue moon there's a reason to fetch it, but most of the time you want to keep it in your deck.
This seems bad.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and bin this. Because if you draw the Triome, that's better than drawing like a basic land late game because you can always cycle the Triome.
Yeah, I cycled a lot of Triomes. More than I fetched them, which is fine. It's fine. That's... That's nice. As has turned this Solitude and this Comet into real cards, hopefully. At some point.
Oh. Ewit in the yard is just as good for him as it in play. But now we're at the coveted 19 life, so he'd have to have a land drop. Which if he E-witted, like he played Sulfuric and then he E-witted Sparrows, so I don't think he has one.
Is it an Ephemerate?
Oh, Dress
No,
Down.
Dress Down?
What does that do? Oh, it gets rid of my life. That's
Yeah, I think that's fine, but we'd rather save the counter spells for the actual win.
Yeah. This is interesting because if he's going for an 8-card Scapeshift, Solitude actually is interaction for that on the Triumph. Or for a 7-land Scapeshift.
Yeah. Mystical Tutor?
Oh, Bolt. Interesting.
Oh.
I will go ahead and step that here. I want this Triumph in play.
That's fair. Yeah, I guess if he's playing his whole turn around Witness into Dress Down into Bolt, the Triumph, I think we're pretty comfortable.
Yeah, well, and even if we come off the library plan here, I think we've kind of turned the corner and are going to want to look to close this game out.
Yeah.
ideal situation, he plays something like a Minskin Boo here.
Yeah.
Funny to say that.
Yeah. Notably, we are now Solitude no longer saves us, both because he played a land and because we didn't get any life off the Triumph dress down. And we misstepped. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Life's hard.
It is. Not even one Triumph swing saves us anymore. But that's okay.
But again,
we have
he's
counter magic.
He's tanking, we're happy.
5 mana here. Interesting. So he's already made his land drop. Am I fine with this just happening?
Like, do we think he minuses? And if he minuses, do we care?
If he minuses, I can just play Solitude.
Stifle?
Oh, Stifle as well.
Yeah, Stifle as well. Solitude's an option.
I think I'm fine with this just resolving, and we can Stifle whatever he does.
I agree.
Actually, I think I Stifle either mode here.
I think I hold on to Stifle just because it's another card for the library.
Oh, that's true.
Like, if he minuses, I think we Stifle. But I think if he doesn't minus, we are. We could also consider if he minuses on Triumph and we don't want to use Stifle, we could Solitude our Triumph and then attack Teferi, and that brings us back to 20 life. Which doesn't matter immediately, but it could matter. And now we have to actually choose what we're doing. I think I like Stifle the most. I think the other lines are cute, but saving Solitude for Surprise Life is better.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the other option is just getting, trying to be cute.
He's also, I'm like, I have this idea of swords in my mind, but I need to rule it out because he sent 3 cards last turn and then 5 mana this turn. He does not have an answer to this Triumph, or he's good at hiding it if he does.
Yeah. Surely he's not watching the stream. No more library. Our land only drew 2 cards in the middle of the game for no reason. I think we clear Teferi first.
There's a
Make sure that happens.
question of whether I comment pre-combat here. Comment, for those who don't know the card, he can roll squirrels, which is like one of the more common modes. I think I like comment before combat here. We'll still have lose focus and force up.
Yeah, I think, he has had enough chances to win that I don't think he has it. And maybe we just win here.
No, let it happen.
Okay. I think we're fine with this, right?
There is an argument because lose focus for 2 doesn't do too much.
I think next, on his turn, it might be safe to force pitch Brainstorm, and then if he has the Remainder Reprieve, we can force pitch lose focus. If we care what he's doing.
This is this is the more degenerate line, but I'm an absolute gambling addict, so let's roll some dice.
I think there's definitely a case to just push the advantage we have, which we do.
I want to roll the comment on the stream.
Dog.
Choose a creature or player. Rolls a 5.
Yeah. So only his face. We can just put him to 4.
I want
killing Teferi.
I want to clear the Teferi. Another card from his deck is scary. Ideally we have lethal with Comet next turn regardless.
Yeah. So. Either way this game goes, there's a lot of decision points in the last couple turns. Like the choices of like countering Teferi with a force negation, or lose focus, or stifling the trigger and killing it in combat, or don't like him getting Tundra. That feels kind of weird, right? He just not realize he had no surveils left, or what?
He might have all of his surveils on play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moment of truth.
Oh, thank God.
Holy walk. He didn't have it. All right. Comet doesn't for sure kill, but it probably kills his turn.
Two squirrels. I don't have a way to turn that into lethal.
No.
No. Okay. Well, we'll attack in.
Oh. Put you to 1. I think we just have Solitude up. I don't think it's worth deploying Cutward.
No, it's not. Our only real interaction here is the Hardcast Solitude on our own triumph, so...
Yeah, he was kind of forced into the Scapeshift last turn because
I guess
we had 5 more life coming our way.
Yeah. So, there is also a line where you hold up lose focus there. And like Genghis was saying, there were so many lines on that Teferi turn. Which is why it's really hard to share Jeskai experience. Because there are... In even a single decision point, there are like 4 different lines you could make. But then due to the nature of Jeskai, you're also extending game length, which means that there are more decisions. So like on Jeskai, you make like 20 times as many decisions a game as like a red deck wins player would make. Leaves a lot of room for skill expression and also a lot of room for making mistakes.
What's this?
5 mana here. I bet it's a... That is not the card I thought it was going to be.
Oh, that's the Harmonize.
Yeah.
Tutor.
For Seeker for Walk. Or for Seeker for
Seeker for Ephemerate for Walk. And you just get the Solitude in response. He did see his on Neoform, so he actually is representing another win here. Which is pretty crazy considering like how much interaction we've had.
One card, one conditions are powerful, yeah. He presented the one card Scapeshift win con and now the one card Spellseeker win con. I guess I should explain how it works. So he gets typically you get Spellseeker for Ephemerate, which Ephemerate is a blink spell that has rebound. So then you'd blink the Seeker and go find Time Walk. You cast the Time Walk and then you go to your next turn. Then you blink your Seeker again, and you go find a creature tutor, typically Neoform, and Neoform your Seeker to turn it into a Timeless Witness. The Timeless Witness grabs back Ephemerate from your yard, then you Ephemerate the Timeless Witness, grab back Time Walk, and then from there you have a loop, because you can alternate between getting back your Ephemerate and your Time Walk, and you take infinite turns. It's a very powerful combo. Not too recently, it was 10 points.
Yeah. Notably, he did not get... He's just Time Walking. Which I think... I mean, he already has the Ephemerate in hand.
Yeah.
Would explain partially why I wasn't doing much. But he was thinking about it a lot. Maybe we just get 4th for 1800 here. We can't survive 4th. It's 14 damage right now.
Noms. White or?
Okay. He's chaining turns, but I think as long as we lead up Solitude and he doesn't draw the Witness and Ephemerate and a counterspell for the Solitude, we're fine. You can do Caracas stuff with Omnath, which is kind of cute. And his land drops might gain him some life, but I think we just need to, you know, hold fast. He's making a run for it.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 more turns lined up. This has been a very cool game. Like we lose Comet here, right? We're not heroically.
No, I think he's going for the win. If he Caracases Omnath, I think I respond, or I consider responding with Solitude.
Yeah, I think that is like a last-ditch effort play.
Yeah.
So stuffing it's good. But I guess the line we're most concerned about is like manually assembling the Ephemerate, Timeless Witness, Time Walk loop. But the second thing, because we notice him just chaining enough turns together that he just takes us, kills us from 22. 21. You can feel reasonably assured of a counterspell. We would have countered it, 2 extra turns ago.
Perhaps the first, second, third, or fourth time walk would have gotten countered.
Yeah. He probably is trying to figure out what it is that we have, because we didn't cast anything. It's not a counterspell. We would have cast most cantrips.
He does have this here.
On the back half, yeah.
Yeah.
Quad green. And creatures only reduce generic. He does have 4 green sources, but kind of just a lot of broccoli.
He also tapped one of them for this. I think I Solitude the Omnath here.
Why specifically response to the life trigger?
I have to do it before he gets priority again, or he's gonna harmonize with the Omnath to get Eternal Witness. Or Timeless Witness.
That's fair.
So I think I have to go now. I technically should have done it in response to the stock up, but
yeah.
Hopefully all the life I gave him here doesn't impact it if we get a churn. Or does he just have a counterspell anyway?
Invert polarity. Holy guac.
Baby. Lost the flip. Okay.
There we go.
That's good. Because if our comment wasn't lucky, it wouldn't be fair if his invert was lucky.
Yeah, he's the same card.
But that's good. Invert tapped him out of Harmonize. So unless he has like exactly a regrowth here, we're gonna get a churn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I think now he has to kill Comet. which sucks for us. And then we have a game where he's Karakusing on Nath. Yeah, he was going for the win, but now he just can't get it. At least this turn, so kill the comment for you on 10.
Bolt off the top, baby.
Bolt off the top, easy game, easy life. Invert polarity off the top too, honestly. More stylish.
Fourth off the top.
Fourth, not bad. Mystical Tutor, not on top.
Okay.
That's basically fourth.
So
And then we stack probe on top no matter what. Have we cast recall twice this game? Have we cast recall all? We have not recalled this game, correct?
No. So we go dress down, scroll, get probe.
Yeah, and see what he's working with. And I think yeah, recall is our best chance finding bolt or a counter spell. So I don't think shuffle is worse. All right, whatever. What's he got?
Force,
no.
Planar Genesis Uro.
So it's this turn or nothing. I mean, not literally, but feels like it. I mean, like a mana leak or another thing is nice against fourth, depending how far he taps out. But we really just want to hit bolt here.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
It's
16.
Yeah. 16 plus on Nath.
Oh, true. If he hits a fetch or whatever.
Yeah, like a fetch Mega kills
he
us.
put a card into hand with Genesis instead of gaining life. That's really interesting. That would be why.
Oh, interesting. So now we Dreadhorde.
Dreadhorde and very likely do not get to have that again.
Yeah, and he still has the Nature's Rhythm for Time Walk. Yeah, like if he draws a fetch, we're dead. If he Nature's Rhythms for a Witness and gets the Time Walk, we are dead as well. I'm not doing the math there, but we are dead to that. Yeah, fourth for 18 damage.
You'll have to see it. Cards pointed for a reason.
Leaving Caracas up too. I mean, yes,
I do have the answer. So
the Brotherhood's End is a clean answer to 4-3 on this.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, and he's not going to overextend into it. Like Bolt is no longer even live, even though it gets double bolt with Dreadhorde.
Oh, I suppose I should have blocked one. The
Yes, but
impact
I
on the
don't
game
think
is
it's gonna
0.
count to that. Yeah. All right. We do know he almost definitely has nothing.
Where were you last turn?
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah. Let's see. He saw the line. All right, we get to, yeah, 3 damage to everything. He does Caracas back on math, but then he has to actually spend a mana to get to attack. Yeah. What are we sanctuarying back?
Chain lightning.
Just chain lightning.
Wowza.
Doesn't really matter, I guess. We're topping it. This game has been so cool. So he has Omnath and an unknown. A land is very good for him here. A fetch land is not good for him here.
You can really see the difference here, but in us not having monarchy this game. I'm only 72 cards deep, and he's like 14 cards deeper than I am.
He's only had the monarch for for like
Whoa,
a turn, right?
True. He digs through his deck better.
Yeah. He does churn through a lot more than we do. Like, well, it's a game where we didn't have recall, right? And recall allows us. Recall draws cards that let you draw cards that let you draw cards.
We cast 2 recalls. Like
but we didn't get it. We got it kind of late in the game.
Sure.
We didn't get to. I think that's probably the end of it, eh?
Yeah, the line here was that I was gonna daze and possibly bin the chain lightning and then look for.
Yeah.
I guess we'll still do that.
Yeah.
And look for like an invert line.
Yeah, but Teferi definitely stuffs that.
Yeah. He pays.
You saw the line.
Wow. Oh my god.
I really.
That was awesome.
I like the line at the end of there where you paid for the days.
Yeah. So I had lines that killed you over the span of like 3 turns if you didn't have creature removal, and I decided to play around creature removal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when I Nature's Rhythm for Spellseeker, I could have just got Ephemerate and tried to win. But
yeah, that's why.
Yeah, we were really
that's
hoping
when. That's when I did this all, or why I did it when I did. Was I saw the Nature's Rhythm line.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm happy I chose to do that. But yeah, 3 good games. That's cool.
That was a really cool final game. That was like the turn you cast the Teferi. We had like lose focus, force negation, stifle, and solitude as well.
Yeah, that was crazy. Well, and I had like Nature's Rhythm, Force, Teferi, Omnath. So like I'm like trying to and solve the equation, and I'm trying to figure out like, all right, which spell doesn't matter, but and you just played library, so I wanted to do something to get you to use cards.
And it was a Lorien, right? Yeah. I think you played Lorien.
Yeah, Lorien. Yeah,
yeah, we were.
Another one. Yeah. God, what a crazy game.
Yeah, like the Teferi were like, do we counter it? Do we solitude? Like, do we like solitude our own triumph in response to like gain a bunch of life? Do we?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was so many lines in that game. It was super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Those were super fun set. Yeah, and it shows that the matchup is close.
Yeah,
Scapeshift
that's like
maybe
exactly how the matchup goes. But I mean,
slightly favored, but Jeskai definitely has a lot of game.
every game can be close, and a deck can still have a 70-30 matchup, which I don't think
Exactly.
it's that bad.
Yeah.
I think it's probably like 65-35, maybe 60-40. But
Yeah, that I think it's closer to those lines as well. You have a lot of game, and anytime you have like a one drop to put some pressure on early, even if it's just like turn one Dragon's Rage Channeler, I think matters a fair amount.
for sure. And this is like reasonably threat light for Jeskai. I'm only on 18 threats total. So
Yeah, and yeah, if you're playing a room full of Scapeshift, your deck would look different, but
for sure.
it's not that would ever happen.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, we'll
Maybe
see.
more after
this
they
video.
watch these
Yeah,
games,
the
you know.
video's posted. They see it beats Jeskai.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it always annoys me when people. I know they're half joking when they say like, Jeskai is unbeatable. Like, always has recall in their hand. Always casts recall 3 times a game. Like, you cast recall in every game, and I won 2 of them. And you cast recall multiple times in several of those games, and I like it's.
I just can't assume that anyone's joking anymore. Like after seeing some of the takes on the server and then seeing them defend it, it's like, oh.
I have to give benefit of the doubt for my own sanity, but yeah. All right. Thanks a lot for the games.
Yeah, GG's. Thanks for playing, Jer.
Make some dinner. Yeah, those were fun. All right, I ended my recording, but yeah, definitely shoot me a link to your video once you have it edited and up, and I'll add a link to ours, and yeah.